Yeah, that survey of Orange County fire agencies and conservation groups shows that most residents are not prepared. Half of residents say they've not taken measures to make their homes fire resistant, and nearly all are unaware that the largest threat to their property is embers.
With more, we are joined by Captain Sean Doran of the Orange County Fire Authority. Captain Doran, thank you. We know that you're always busy, and especially busy this time of year. Technically, the fire season is between now and November. It's extending a little bit later because of these prime conditions for this year's fire season. How are the conditions? How does it look? And what are some of those common ignition sources?
Well, you just hit on it a little bit there in your weather forecast. The weather is one major player, especially here in Southern California. As you mentioned, those wind events we oftentimes see a little bit later in the year. And then the topography. We do live in an area with many canyons and mountainous areas that accelerate that fire growth. And then finally, those fuels. Chief Ennis here talked about it with CAL FIRE just a couple of weeks ago. When we look up in the hills and see, lush green and remember this beautiful rainy season we have to remember the dead fuels, those plants are still under that green lush layer, are still there and primed to burn. So that weather, fuel, and topography combination is what we call being in full alignment. And at any time of the year, that can hit. And so preparedness is really key. And you mentioned fire starts. Prevention. The majority of fires in California have some sort of human element, and then the majority of those actually are roadside starts. So we really stress that point of prevention, on those hot, windy days, not using tools outside, making sure your tow chains are tied up, your car's in good working condition. If you pull over on the side of the road, make sure you're not pulling over on brush to prevent those fires in the first place. One less spark, one less wildfire concept. And then finally, preparedness. Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, what are things we can do to prepare our homes?
Absolutely, preparedness. So a uniform message we put out across the state really is ready, set, and go. So the ready piece of that is that home hardening. And touching on what you mentioned, those fire brands can travel miles ahead of the fire. So sometimes these homes can actually burn from the inside out. So we really stress that home hardening, tapping into resources that we have on our website and other local fire departments as well. It's everything down to the mesh that's covering your vents, the eaves. A really big stress point we have right now is the immediate zone, that 0 to 5 foot section from the edge of your house away from your property. Removing anything combustible there, whether it's mulch, firewood, furniture, anything that could actually lead the fire to grow from that one little ember landing in that receptive bed there.
I think it bears repeating the fact that the #1 danger to your home is a single ember. Can you stress that again?
We can. Again, a lot of our fires that we think of, these campaign fires that you mentioned over the last several years, are during times of these strong wind events. So those Santa Ana winds down here and winds by other names in other areas make those embers travel, they say up to 5 miles. Obviously, as they get farther and farther away, the less reactive they can be. But we're seeing homes burn not from the fire front itself all the time, but those embers that travel ahead of the fire and have that receptive fuel bed, especially in that 0 to 5 foot area, and then making access into homes that had not been hardened. So we really stress the community is our partner in not only the prevention piece, but the preparedness piece. And then finally, the time to execute a plan is when that fire is there. We don't want you to make that plan when the fire comes. We want you to execute a plan you already have in place.
Look, we know that you are all heroes. I spent the day at your training headquarters with OCFA, and you're heroes right here in the flesh. So we thank you for all the hard work that you do, and you put your lives on the line every day for us. Captain Sean Doran of Orange County Fire Authority, thanks again.